Welcome to a place where every single step could be your last. Beneath the breathtaking green canopy of the world's largest rainforest lies a brutal, unforgiving battleground where only the most ruthless survive. You are stepping into the lost world of the Amazon. From silent apex assassins stalking the shadows to armored leviathans lurking in the murky waters, this isn't just a nature show, it's a front row seat to the most dangerous ecosystem on Earth. Take a deep breath, and whatever you do, don't look away, because the jungle is already watching you. Deep in the undergrowth, where the sunlight barely touches the forest floor, the jungle belongs to the jaguar. This isn't just a big cat. It's an apex predator built for absolute stealth. With a bite force strong enough to crush a turtle shell, it stalks through the suffocating humidity without making a single sound. When it locks onto its prey, the strike is instant, brutal, and flawlessly calculated. Look 200 feet up into the canopy, and the rules of survival completely change. Here, the harpy eagle reigns supreme, armed with talons the exact size of a grizzly bear's claws. It navigates the dense network of branches with terrifying agility, plucking monkeys and sloths right out of the trees. It's a ghost of the upper canopy, spotting its next meal from miles away before dropping like a silent, feathered anvil.
But in this ecosystem, brute strength isn't the only way to kill. Scattered across the wet leaves are splashes of neon gold, blue, and red, the poison dart frogs. They are tiny, roughly the size of a quarter, yet they carry enough neurotoxins in their vibrant skin to drop 10 grown men. They don't hide or run. Their brilliant colors are a direct, unapologetic warning to anything foolish enough to take a bite. And if you manage to avoid the jaws and the toxins, the real nightmare might just crawl right up your boot. The bullet ant gets its name for a very specific, terrifying reason. A single sting delivers a wave of pure agony, comparable to taking a bullet. The pain doesn't just fade. It burns intensely through your nervous system for 24 relentless hours. In this forest, the smallest creatures are often the ones that demand the most respect.
Slip beneath the surface of the murky Amazon River, and you enter the domain of a true monster. The green anaconda doesn't rely on venom. It uses sheer, terrifying mass. Weighing up to 500 pounds, this colossal snake waits patiently in the shallows, with only its cold eyes and nostrils breaking the water. When a capybara or wild pig leans in for a drink, the snake explodes from the depths, wrapping its victim in a crushing embrace that literally stops the heart within minutes. Sharing these dark waters is a prehistoric survivor that makes standard alligators look completely harmless. The black caiman can grow over 16 feet long, an armored leviathan with eyes that glow a sinister red under the moonlight. It rules the riverbanks with absolute authority, violently dragging giant otters, wild dogs, and even younger jaguars into a disorienting underwater death roll. Out here, it is the undisputed king of the flooded plains. But the river doesn't just hide solitary giants. It's also home to a swarming, razor-toothed menace. The red-bellied piranha might be exaggerated by Hollywood, but the raw reality is still incredibly ruthless. Armed with interlocking teeth sharp enough to shear straight through solid bone, their feeding frenzy is instantly triggered by the scent of blood or the thrashing of a wounded animal. In a chaotic rush of snapping jaws, a concentrated attack can strip a carcass completely bare. Back on the humid forest floor, as night falls, a creature straight out of a nightmare drags itself from the soil. The Goliath bird ear is the heaviest spider on Earth, boasting a leg span the exact size of a large dinner plate. It doesn't bother spinning webs to catch its food. It actively hunts down rodents, venomous toads, and large insects in the pitch black. You don't just see this predator. If the jungle goes quiet enough, you can actually hear its massive, hairy legs clicking against the dead leaves as it walks. Wading through the shallow, muddy tributaries, you face a danger you can't even see coming. The electric eel is practically blind, yet it navigates and hunts by discharging up to 860 volts of pure electricity. That is more than enough power to drop a full-grown horse in its tracks. It turns the murky water around it into a lethal weapon, stunning a fish instantly and paralyzing absolutely anything unlucky enough to step too close to its invisible strike zone.
When the temperature drops and the canopy goes completely dark, the real stealth specialists take flight. The common vampire bat doesn't aggressively suck blood like a movie monster. It's far more surgical. Using heat sensors on its nose, it pinpoints the exact location of a warm vein on a sleeping mammal, makes a tiny, painless incision with razor-sharp teeth, and quietly laps up the pooling blood. Its saliva contains a highly evolved protein that stops the blood from clotting, letting it feed like a ghost, while its victim sleeps through the entire ordeal. Down in the thick leaf litter, an armored, venomous train silently goes to work. The Amazonian giant centipede grows over a foot long and is fueled by pure, unadulterated aggression. It doesn't just scavenge for insects, it actively scales trees to snatch sleeping bats right off the ceilings of caves. Armed with front appendages that inject a searing, agonizing venom, it will fiercely attack predators, completely ignoring the rules of size and weight. If you think the river is safe once the piranhas disperse, you haven't met the boto. The Amazon pink river dolphin looks almost mythical, but it is an incredibly ruthless, highly intelligent hunter. Unlike ocean dolphins, the boto has an unfused neck spine, allowing it to turn its head a full 90 degrees to navigate the flooded, tangled root systems of the jungle. It uses high-frequency sonar to flush out hidden prey, tearing through schools of fish with a brutal, calculated efficiency that leaves absolutely nothing to chance. And if you manage to keep your eyes off the canopy and the river, the forest floor still demands absolute paranoia. The fur de lance is a highly venomous pit viper that perfectly mimics the rotting wood and dead leaves it rests on. It doesn't flee when it hears heavy footsteps. It coils tightly, relies on its camouflage, and waits. Equipped with thermal imaging pits and a venom that aggressively destroys tissue, this single snake is responsible for more fatal bites in the region than any other predator. Out here, one careless step is all it takes for the jungle to claim you. Deep in the foliage, a predator actively patrols the night without a web or a permanent home. The Brazilian wandering spider holds the record as one of the most toxic spiders on Earth, and it has a notoriously explosive temper. Instead of retreating from larger threats, it aggressively rears up on its hind legs, swaying side to side and displaying its red jaws in a furious threat posture. A single bite delivers a heavy dose of neurotoxins that causes erratic breathing, intense pain, and a systemic shock that can easily drop a healthy human before dawn. But the terrors of the Amazon aren't always massive or venomous. Sometimes they are microscopic and utterly violating. The kangaroo is a tiny, translucent parasitic catfish that lurks in the silty riverbeds. It normally swims into the gills of larger fish to gorge on their blood, using backward-pointing, umbrella-like spines to lock itself permanently in place. The dread surrounding this parasite comes from its unsettling hunting method, blindly tracking biological scents in the water to invade the vulnerable flesh of practically any mammal, completely unaware of the invisible threat beneath the surface. Emerging from the dense brush is a creature that looks almost comically bizarre, but underestimating it is a fatal mistake. The giant anteater spans up to 7 feet long
and lacks teeth entirely, yet it commands absolute respect from the jungle's top predators. Its massive front legs are armed with 4-inch scythe-like claws designed to effortlessly rip open concrete-hard termite mounds. When cornered by a starving puma or jaguar, it rears up on its hind legs like a bear, ready to deploy a lethal, bone-crushing embrace that can literally gut an attacker with a single devastating swipe. In the fast-moving currents of the deep river channels, a prehistoric hunter prowls with a face built exclusively for nightmares. The payara, widely known as the vampire fish, sports 2 massive, dagger-like fangs that grow up to 6 inches long straight out of its lower jaw. These teeth are so comically oversized that the fish actually possesses specialized holes in its upper skull just to sheath them when its mouth is closed. It strikes with blinding, violent speed, instantly impaling heavily armored prey before swallowing them whole in the chaotic churning rapids. And then there is the unstoppable force that terrifies absolutely everything in the forest, regardless of size or armor. A colony of Amazonian army ants doesn't build nests. It is a relentless, marching empire of up to 2 million soldiers that consumes everything in its path. When the swarm gets moving, it creates a terrifyingly audible rustling noise across the forest floor, flushing out a massive wave of panicked spiders, venomous snakes, and lizards. There is no fighting back against this living carpet of jaws. If an animal is too slow, injured, or young to outrun the march, it is systematically pinned down, dismantled, and stripped entirely to the bone in a matter of hours. From the silent strike of the jaguar to the relentless, flesh-eating march of the army ants, the Amazon doesn't just ask for your respect, it violently demands it. This is a place where every shadow has teeth, and every river hides a monster. If you survived this journey through the lost world of the Amazon, hit that subscribe button to venture deeper into the wild with us next time. Drop a comment below and tell us which of these predators terrified you the most. Until then, watch your step and stay out of the dark water.